Session 4, Miracle of Your Mind. The harnessing of the power of the sun in our atomic plants and ships, the speed of light, computers that in minutes save months and years of calculating drudgery, every advance you see and touch spawned from the most powerful agency in the world, the human mind. Dr. Harlow Shapley of Harvard University said that we are entering an entirely new age of man. He called it the Psychozoic Age, the age of the mind. And you, my friend, own one, free and clear. Now, let's look at a few facts. The 40-hour week, long standard, is an imminent likelihood of being shortened even farther. This means that the average working person has at his disposal an enormous amount of free time. In fact, if you total the hours in a year and subtract the sleeping hours, assuming 8 hours of average sleep every night, you'll find that this person has about 6,000 waking hours, of which less than 2,000 are spent on the job. Now, this leaves 4,000 hours a year when a person is neither working nor sleeping. These can be called discretionary hours with which that person can do pretty much as he pleases. So you can see the amazing results in your life. I want to recommend that you devote just 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, to exercising your mind. You don't even have to do it on weekends. Pick 1 hour a day that you can count on fairly regularly. The best time for me is an hour before the others are up in the morning. The mind is clear, the house is quiet, and if you like, with a fresh cup of coffee, this is the time to start the mind going. And here's one good way to do this. During this hour every day, take a completely blank sheet of paper. At the top of the page, write your present primary goal clearly and simply. Then, since our future depends upon the way in which we handle our work, write down as many ideas as you can for improving that which you do now. Try to think of 20 possible ways in which the activity that fills your day can be improved. You won't always get 20, but even one is good. Now, remember two important points with regard to this. Number one, this is not particularly easy. And number two, most of your ideas won't be any good. When I say it's not easy, I mean it's like starting any other habit. At first, you'll find that your mind is a little reluctant to be holed up and out of the old familiar rut. But as you think about your work and ways in which it might be improved, write down every idea that pops into your head, no matter how absurd it might seem. Let me tell you what will happen. Some of your ideas will be good and worth testing. The most important thing this extra hour accomplishes, however, is that it deeply embeds your goal into your subconscious mind and starts the whole vital machinery working the first thing every morning. And 20 ideas a day, if you can come up with that many, totals 100 a week, even if you skip weekends. An hour a day, 5 days a week totals 260 hours a year and still leaves you 3,740 hours of free leisure time. Now, this means you'll be thinking about your goal and ways of improving your performance, increasing your service 6.5 full extra working weeks a year, 6.5 40-hour weeks devoted to thinking and planning. Can you see how easy it is to rise above the so-called competition? And it will still leave you with 7 hours a day to spend as you please. Starting each day thinking, you will find that your mind will continue to work all day long. You will find that at odds moments, when you least expect it, really great ideas will begin to bubble up from your subconscious. When they do, write them down as you can. Just one great idea can completely revolutionize your work and, as a result, your life. If you want to develop the muscles of your body, you engage in daily exercise of some sort. The mind is developed in the same way, except that the returns are out of all conceivable proportions to the time and energy spent. The mind of man can lift anything. His muscles, even the best developed, are puny alongside those of some of the dumbest animals on earth. If man had depended on his muscles for survival, he probably would have disappeared, as did the dinosaurs, which were, incidentally, the most physically powerful creatures that ever lived. Let me give you just some of the results that people have reported to me as a consequence of following this 1 hour a day routine. An office equipment salesman sold more of his company's product in 1 month than he had formerly sold in an entire year during the 4 years he had been with his company. And a Sunday school teacher with 5 pupils set a goal of 30 pupils. In her last letter to me, she told me she now has a class of 25. She's almost reached her goal. I've used this system for years and has given me some of the most gratifying and rewarding experiences of my life, and it costs only 5 hours a week. 5 hours out of 168. Is it worth it? It's like spending 5 hours a week digging in a solid vein of pure gold, because your mind is all of that and much more. Each time you write your goal at the top of a sheet of paper, don't worry or become concerned about it. Think of it as the only waiting to be reached, a problem only waiting to be solved. Face it with faith and bend all the great powers of your mind towards solving it, and believe me, solve it you will. This puts each of us in the driver's seat. Now, let's briefly recap. This week, start spending 1 hour each day getting as many ideas as you can. Try for 20 a day on ways to improve what you are now doing. Don't become discouraged. Remember, the achievement of your goal very likely depends upon it. It does your whole future. Once you start exercising your mind in this way, I know you'll want to continue the practice. So if everything you now have is the result of using, say, 5 to 10% of your mental ability, you can imagine what life will be like if you can increase this figure to 20% or more. Successful people are not people without problems. They are simply people who have learned to solve their problems. Don't waste time and energy worrying about needless things. 40% of them will never happen. 30% have already happened and can't be changed. 12% are needless worries about our health. 10% are pretty miscellaneous worries, and only 8% are genuine. Try to separate the real from the unnecessary and solve those that are within your ability to solve. The human race has advanced farther during the past 50 years than it has in all the preceding 10,000 years of human civilization. We are now living right in the middle of the golden age when man has been dreaming of and praying for centuries, and it's going to get better. The only thing in the world that can take you to your goals in life is your mind, your effective use of it, and your follow through on the good ideas it supplies you. Each of us has a tendency to underestimate his own abilities. We should realize that we have deep within ourselves deep reservoirs of great ability, even genius, that can be tapped if we'll just dig deeply enough. It's the miracle of your man.